Well, we are following a development in that ever-changing story surrounding Jeffrey Epstein. Convicted sex trafficker and Epstein associate Ghislaine Maxwell has filed an appeal with the Supreme Court in hopes of overturning her conviction. Earlier today, President Donald Trump was also asked about whether he would consider a pardon for Maxwell, and here's what he had to say.
Well, I'm allowed to give her a pardon, but nobody's approached me with it. Nobody's asked me about it. It's in the news about that aspect of it, but right now it would be inappropriate to talk about it.
CBS News Justice correspondent Scott MacFarlane joins me now from Washington. What are you hearing about this?
This is a reply to an appeal to another reply. A lot of this is going back and forth here in the Supreme Court with no date certain of when they'll even look at this piece of paper filed by David Marcus, the defense attorney now handling the matters of Ghislaine Maxwell. The paperwork was expected, the filing was expected. It's the public statement that David Marcus has just issued on behalf of Ghislaine Maxwell explaining his filing that's perhaps most noteworthy because, Reed, he puts a pretty direct appeal to President Trump in his statement, a flattering statement to President Trump as he may be seeking a pardon for his client, Ghislaine Maxwell. The statement includes this phrase: President Trump built his legacy in part on the power of a deal, and surely he would agree that when the U.S. gives its word, it must stand by it. He also says in his statement that the president himself should recognize how profoundly unjust it is to scapegoat Ghislaine Maxwell for Epstein's crimes, especially when the government promised she would not be prosecuted. The legal argument here, according to Maxwell, according to Marcus, is that Maxwell was offered a plea agreement in one district in America, but was robustly prosecuted in another. He says the U.S. government didn't keep its word. It's a dubious legal argument, potentially. We expect the response to be striking. But that said, you could see where this is headed with David Marcus, the defense lawyer, trying to nudge President Trump towards a pardon, which the president, as you heard, is not ruling out.
The optics there would be explosive in the headlines, given all of the interest in this case. I will be fascinated to see what happens as that plays itself through the courts. Scott, I also have to ask you about this, not only as a news person, but as a parent. We're hearing about this dark web takedown, this child abuse website. I'm stunned to hear that number, more than 120,000 members.
Yeah, when we were taking notes as this case was being explained to us by the Justice Department, some of the things we had to look twice at our notes to make sure we wrote them down correctly, Reed. First of all, the Department of Justice is characterizing this latest takedown of 4 dark websites that peddle in child abuse images was one of the most successful prosecutions of its kind in history. That one or more of those 4 dark websites, that again, exclusively trade child abuse material, had 120,000 members, had millions of files, and on one day had 100,000 visits. The volume of people gravitating towards those sites even surprised prosecutors at first when they recognized the magnitude of this. And Reed, I know the phrase dark web gets thrown around. Some people are familiar with it, some are not. It's because they're difficult to get access to. You need to either pass an initiation, find some way of getting through the encryption. You have to work your way onto a dark website. That many people were there for that type of horrific imagery is a very sobering moment to recognize.
Department of Justice pursuing justice there. I think anyone would agree that that's a good thing. Scott MacFarlane, thank you so much.